Hi there everybody, my name is Kate. Welcome to my channel, Trinergy Awakens Naturally. As I'm out driving, first of all, I just want to say, is it happening anywhere else in the U.S. that there is a 30 to 40 cent swing in gas prices from one gas station to the next? No lie. It's less than 10 miles from point A to point B for me right at this moment, and there is a 40-cent swing in the gas prices per gallon. That to me seems outrageous. I thought maybe I was just really having a hard time with my saffron skills. I had to take off both shoes and kick off my gloves and everything. But anyhow, let's talk about something far more important than the disparate difference between one place and another. Boy, we could get metaphysical all day long. However, that's not the download that I got most recently. What I'm working with this morning is the idea of teachability and reachability. All right, teachability is our reachability. How teachable are we? How reachable are we? Well, the less teachable we are, the less reachable we are. And I don't mean being taught by somebody else, just carte blanche. I don't mean that. I know that there's lots of sayings that everybody's a teacher and a student and all this other stuff. And we can get stuck in some remedial education that's unnecessary by buying too much into any one definition or anyone's story that's really perhaps not fitting very well. And that's my point exactly, is how teachable are we? And the degree to which my ego would get involved, get triggered and say, well, I don't need to learn anything, or that's not what I heard, or that's not correct. I judge a great deal and discern a great deal about myself from what my reaction or my response would be to somebody else or something else, something they're saying, something they're doing, a theology, an ideology, some sort of social norm, a trend, whatever it is that I would be looking at. My response or my reaction, and responses I put more in the category of it's a metered, well thought out, logical approach. Whereas a reaction often is just literally off the cuff. It's just my brute, immediate kickback to whatever I'm seeing, feeling, tasting, touching, whatever. And I really work very hard to reside in the response department far more, because reactions get us into trouble. That's where triggers live and where they jump out of and turn into, jump back booger man, you got a problem a lot, because that reaction isn't very tempered or metered very much or very often. So anyway, the amount to which our ego gets involved is the amount to which our teachability is reachable. If our ego's in the way, we may really, listen to someone, but we're formulating the argument in our head about why they're wrong. We're formulating the responding sentences that we're going to give them about how and why that justifies our position, or it devalues their position, or somehow, there's no growth in conversations like that, I find, other than growing the skill of argument, and I don't appreciate those. A good healthy debate, perhaps, if I'm going to learn something in the debate, then yeah, jump in, I'm all there. However, if it's just an argument, dressed up as a debate, that I'm not really looking to learn about your side or learn anything about this, or talk about this in a comparative way that's healthy, constructive, and is going to grow both of us in some knowledge base, then that's just a dressed up argument that's called a debate, and it can go on in all kinds of homes everywhere with white collars, blue collars, and religious collars, and all kinds of things, crystals and beads hanging everywhere. It doesn't matter, because no matter what context we're speaking in, it just so happens that the bigger, broad topics of religion, spirituality, politics, sports, jobs, homeless, social issues, those things are very easy to turn into target points, because they have so much energy on them. And people, the way that we form our opinions is, for most of us, through our ego. It's what we learned, and so it makes us very unteachable and quite unreachable if our ego and our opinion about something is so fixed and rooted, and we have zero flexibility that we're willing to give to it, that all trans people are bad, all gay people are bad, all black people are bad, whatever the lockdown, highly imbalanced notion is, whatever the ideology is that doesn't serve humanity as a whole, that does not see humanity as a whole, wherever that's leaking out and squeaking out and being, insidious and imbalanced, however far I'm willing knee deep to go into it and how far I'm willing to go knee deep and not yield to anything but that, that makes me unteachable, unreachable, on everything except unalive. You know, we always have the ability to change our mind. We do. It's a matter of how much of our ego is involved. What will it take for us to get smacked so hard and knocked down so fast and so badly that we get it? And I'm not in charge of anybody else's knocking down. I'm busy, you know, picking myself back up from when I've been knocked down. You know, that's really how I choose to live my life, is, you know, not get into those battles and not get into the grab the popcorn, find it hilarious when I see somebody else struggling, because I've been on the receiving end of people, you know, with their popcorn and, you know, thinking it's hilarious, and I'm down with all my teeth on the ground and this really hurts. And, you know, it's just an awful place to live. And I found that I don't feel better, you know, I don't feel better when I'm laughing or finding humor or amusement or going, you know, this about somebody else's failure or their failings or their falls from grace. And so that's just an ego point that it hurts too much to see other people in pain, despite the fact that, you know, people can be monsters and all of that. They're unteachable and therefore unreachable. And that's probably what I find the saddest, is that it's self-imposed prison. You know, we have a lot of people that are in their self-imposed prisons screaming, screeching, and squawking like, you know, pterodactyl style about being caged. And the lock is on the inside of the cage that you're sitting in, or the jail cell that you're sitting in. The lock is on the door where you're sitting, and it's on the inside. You have control of it. I don't have the key. And yet we have millions of people who feel very imprisoned and are emotionally imprisoned and assume that other people have the key to come and free them. Come, you know, say something nice and that'll make me feel better. Do something nice. Give me something. Pay me back for the injuries that I've suffered. I've been victimized and therefore I'm owed. Well, let me shed some light on this, and you know, perhaps this is a point that we can grow and learn and find out how reachable am I, how teachable am I, and how flexible can I be on this point that victimization happens. The people who say there's no such thing as a victim, well, I'm going to have to call the bullshit flag on it, because when I was being harmed physically, emotionally, sexually, financially, spiritually, all of it, I absolutely was feeling that in 3D real time. You know, that was really happening, and there was victimization. It's a matter that I choose not to sit in that victimization any longer. I choose to acknowledge it as, how may I grow from that? How may I grab a hold of my sovereignty and my strength and my ability and get better because of it? It did not have to be that way, however, it was that way. So how can I use this to better play and understand myself as a sovereign individual who's teachable and reachable and is quite flexible and adaptable, to say, okay, I thought it was going to be this way and it wasn't. And take the time to grieve, take the time to be mad, sad, all of those things, which are all growth points, and they're all flexibility. If we're not used to crying, you know, maybe we're willing to, perhaps if we're teachable, we're therefore reachable, that maybe we're going to grab a hanky and sit down and let it out, you know, finally. Or maybe we're going to lose the ego to say, yeah, I really was quite a hoe about that. I'm going to need to go and make this better. And, you know, start looking at ways to apologize in places where we know we've misstepped, or at least apologize to ourselves and to our sense of sacred, that was a point at which I dishonored the integrity of me, and I therefore dishonored the integrity of anything that I think is sacred, or that I ever used to find sacred or holy. And it's not until we really are teachable, and teachable is about being vulnerable, because it allows the teacher to understand. The student knows that I know more. The student understands that the teacher is aware that I'm vulnerable. I don't know what you're talking about, and yet I would like to. It's just that very often we have teachers who are teaching us in ways that are abusive, and we don't have to learn through abuse. That's clearly the old paradigm, and it's the old bullshit of the old paradigm. And until everybody gets there, you know, we're going to have stragglers across burning bridges, you know, that people are setting fire to bridges everywhere, burning bridges. And I don't have a problem with it. I burn bridges all over myself. And what my thought is on it is that that bridge is burned because that line of communication, that frequency is absolutely obliterated. We've shut down that timeline and that whole reality tunnel. Then a new bridge will need to be built, because the new bridge will include new earth and new earth vocabulary, new earth dialogue, new earth frequency, new earth understanding of new you, new me, because that's really where we are. It isn't a matter that, excuse me, we just say or do a few things, rattle a few chicken bones, and it's there. We have to be, all in it from stem to stern, as they say, to be all involved in our spiritual practice, our identity awareness, our personal development, our religious studies, our politics, whatever it is, and start making balance, where we are. And we're going to find, as this continues, this 5D ascension process in New Earth arrival, we're going to continue to see that policies will change, and that huge corporate structures and religious structures, spiritual structures, all paradigms, all infrastructure that we've seen of everything is being tested. And how teachable are we? How teachable is that system? How much does that system want to know that that's really not serving the full population of your company there, or your country, or your organization, or your family? Is it serving the needs of everyone there? And for as long as you have people that don't believe that everybody deserves that, they're going to be sitting in a very unteachable and unreachable position. It doesn't mean that they are not absolutely loved and adored by the universe the same way as everybody else. It means that they won't be able to play at the level that they could have full access, because they're too busy cutting their own selves off by not being teachable and reachable. And that flexibility thing allows for, okay, I don't understand what your process is. I do not understand why, you would do that particular thing at that particular day or whatever. However, as long as it's not coming at me and, attempting to kill me, harm me, or, cause a disruption in my world, then you're allowed to do whatever you want to do. I'm not here to change you. I'm not here to be changed by you. We're here to come together collaboratively, and to come together as a team of people who are here to restore planet Earth to not just her original place of healing, because she's kept moving on. It's to restore all those places that have been imbalanced. And by doing that, we're doing that within ourselves, and we are collaborating with New Earth energy and whatever the help is that we get from off planet, and all of the light workers and star seeds and people who are energy healers, timeline workers, generational curse breakers, anybody that's working in the angle of collaboration and healing, and really sees the 5D and ascension process coming in. They're teachable, they're reachable, and their ego doesn't lead generally. And if ego does, anytime I have a quick, snap judgment about something, oh, that's about me, pardon me, I need to step out of the game, because I'm not going to be able to give you a response that's metered and is mature and is emotionally balanced if I'm already off balance with some reaction that, well, that's stupid, well, that's this, well, that's that. Those are very shallow, and they're very tiny assessments to make. Whenever I can make an assessment of a whole person, a whole organization, a whole something like that, and I really don't even have much information about it, or it's based on some shallow notion that all black people are this, or all brown people are that, or all gay people are this. If I'm making those quick assumptions already in my mind, and then therefore complicate it with a quick assumption even further about that person because I've got my prejudice, then I'm just wrapped up in a very unteachable place, and that's unreachable. And it's not unreachable as in hopeless. Every single person on the planet can choose at any time to change their mind. It's a matter of gotta let go of the ego, gotta let go of the notion that we know everything and that we are somehow in charge. Not a one of us is. The only thing we're in charge of is our own energy and our own sovereignty about how we're going to deal with having no real power for realsy, because this dilsy is going the way that it's going. We can go with the flow and really experience it in 1331 in a very collaborative and kind way, or we can buck against it and find out that, yeah, I probably would feel better if I was more teachable, therefore more reachable. It won't feel so hella painful. So I hope that's been helpful to you somehow, and I hope that whatever part of the day you're in, that you're enjoying it. And get within your skin, friend, because you're divine. It is absolutely fine, and if you allow your ego to be pushed aside and out of your mind, your heart and your mind together can push the ego aside and find somewhere where you're teachable, where you're vulnerable, where you're open to your teachers, who you say, I yield to you because I don't understand this. I'm a mere human, and it doesn't matter how smart I am, it doesn't matter how great I am. I can always be smarter, I can always be greater, and I can always learn more from the ascended realms, because evolution of mind and consciousness continues to happen regardless. So take care and be well. And like I said, enjoy your day and get within your skin, because you're divine. It is totally fine. Take care, and I will see you again next time. Goodbye, friends.